Can business leaders and management teams build the perfect team? Is there such a thing? What is the secret sauce to high-performing teams, and can this be replicated? For those who are sports fans, you will appreciate the time and money that is spent by managers to assemble the perfect team, that all-star team that they all want. Some follow pure numbers, some follow skills, some have a formula, or some combination of different needs, and they look at personality fits. But what about for business? Is there a secret formula that business leaders and management teams can use to assemble the perfect team? In 2012, Google set out to answer this exact question. Google coined it Project Aristotle. The name comes from the Greek philosopher Aristotle. After years of analyzing data and interviews from teams across the company, the conclusion from Google appeared to suggest that the kinds of people, aka the individual personalities, in a team are not so relevant. Aber Dubé, a manager in Google's People's Analytic division, said in an interview with the New York Times, "We had lots of data, but there was nothing showing that a mix of specific personality types or skills or backgrounds made any difference. The who part of the equation didn't seem to matter." Now, I will address some studies that oppose the findings at Google and argue that individual personalities do matter, but more on that later. Google's Project Aristotle is definitely one insightful study on what makes teams effective, and it's certainly worth delving deeper into. Launched in 2012, Google set out to discover the secret sauce behind most of their successful teams. Considering the amount of innovation and financial success the company has achieved since its founding in 1998, the release of this study was much anticipated. So what Google did was it analyzed over 180 teams across the company. Each team ranged from 3 to 50 people, and the company conducted numerous interviews over the course of 2 years. Here are the 5 key factors that the researchers concluded from their study that contribute to team effectiveness. The first is psychological safety. Psychological safety is the shared belief that team members can take risks and express themselves without fear of negative consequences. It was found to be the most critical factor in these high-performing teams at Google. When employees feel safe to openly discuss ideas, ask questions, and even admit mistakes, it fosters an environment where innovation thrives. Amy Edmondson, a leading expert on psychological safety and the Novartis Professor of Leadership and Management at Harvard Business School, explains the significance of this concept. Psychological safety is a belief that one will not be punished or humiliated for speaking out with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. So this highlights how important it is for leaders to create an environment where open communication and risk-taking are encouraged. Now, number 2 is dependability. High-performing teams consist of individuals who can rely on one another to complete tasks and meet expectations. Dependability is crucial for maintaining trust and ensuring that everyone is pulling their weight. Number 3 is structure and clarity. Successful teams have clear roles, goals, and plans, which provide a sense of direction and purpose. When team members know what is expected of them and how their work contributes to the bigger picture, they are more likely to stay engaged and perform well. Number 4 is the meaning of work. The most effective teams at Google were those individuals who found personal significance and satisfaction in their work. When people feel passionate about what they do, they're more likely to be motivated and invested in their team's success. Simon Sinek, a renowned author and motivational speaker, emphasizes the importance of finding meaning in work. Simon says, working hard for something that we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion. Sinek's perspective highlights the critical role that personal fulfillment plays in driving engagement and performance on a team. I would add to this that beyond just passion, that the meaning of work is also often driven by what you are good at. If you consistently execute with success in a task, you tend to get lots of praise and recognition, leading to an internal sense of what you're doing means something and is part of a greater cause, which leads us to the next finding, which is the impact of work. High-performing teams believe that their work had a positive impact on the company, the clients, and the world at large. When team members see the tangible results of their efforts, it really enforces their sense of purpose, and it really motivates them to continue striving for success. Management author and expert Patrick Lencioni said, "When people don't unload their opinions and feel like they've been listened to, they won't really get on board." This emphasizes the importance of team members feeling heard and valued in order to stay engaged and committed to the team's success. Now, while Google's Project Aristotle provides valuable insights into the factors that contribute to high-performing teams, it's also important to consider other perspectives as well. In an article published by Harvard Business Review, Thomas Chamorro-Premuzic and Dave Winsborough argue that team dynamics go beyond the factors identified in Project Aristotle. They emphasize the role of personalities, not just skills and team culture, because if you think about it, there's probably a certain subsection of personalities that would gravitate towards working at a place like Google. Google. In addition, I'm assuming the Google HR process is also very vigorous, one that provides screens and selects candidates that fit their ideal psychological profile. So one can argue that Project Aristotle most likely didn't account for that. According to Chamorro, Premuzic, and Winsborough, the key to building great teams is to understand and manage individual personalities. They believe that the secret to high-performance teams is not in the individual characteristics of its members or even their team dynamics. It's about understanding how different people can complement one another's strengths and weaknesses to create a well-rounded and effective unit. Now, while Project Aristotle offers valuable guidelines for fostering team effectiveness, it's essential to recognize that individual personalities also play a significant role in the success of a team. Leaders should focus on assembling teams with diverse personalities, understanding how each person can contribute, and manage potential conflicts that may arise from those differences. When I evaluate Project Aristotle and Chamorro, Premuzic, and Winsborough's arguments and combine it with my own experience leading teams, I would say both approaches are necessary to create high-performing teams in general. I believe leaders need to first have a clear understanding of what their organization needs from a personnel standpoint. Figure out what you're looking to solve before you actually go out and assemble the team. Now, once you have that clarity, you should then take a methodical approach to finding the individuals that will help accomplish your needs. Take into considerations things like diverse skills and knowledge backgrounds, complementary personalities, and your own ability to manage potential conflicts with different personalities. So perhaps you shouldn't have multiple type A personalities trying to lead an intense project that has a tight timeline. Lastly, when you assemble your team, take a page out of Google's Project Aristotle and cultivate an environment of psychological safety, foster dependability, establish clear roles and goals, and ensure team members find meaning and impact in the work. By balancing the factors identified in Project Aristotle with an appreciation for the importance of personalities, leaders can create a more comprehensive approach to building high-performance teams. That's it for this video. Make sure to click the like and subscribe button so you are updated every time we have new content. And don't forget to check out some of my other videos on business development, marketing, and entrepreneurship. And make sure to leave your comments below about high-performing teams. Have you read the Google Aristotle Project Final Report? And what are your thoughts about building high-performance teams within your organization? Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.